federal indictment against Baltimore State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby, handed down by a grand jury Thursday, charging her with perjury and making false statements on a mortgage application.
This is a case that involves a public official committing fraud, but it is not a case of a public official, for example, stealing state resources.
The charges relate to the purchase of 2 vacation homes in Florida in 2020. Charging documents state Mosby claimed to have experienced financial hardship due to the pandemic in order to withdraw from the city's deferred compensation plan, even though documents show she was receiving her full salary. The indictment states she used that money toward the purchase of the homes. And the indictment alleges she did not disclose her tax liabilities on the mortgage applications, even though the IRS placed a lien against her property for unpaid taxes.
My first thought was that this is a paper trail crime. This is a crime that involves documents, and so this is a harder one to defend against in many ways.
Mosby's attorney sent us a statement maintaining her innocence, stating, "We will fight these charges vigorously, and I remain confident that once all the evidence is presented, that she will prevail against these bogus charges that are rooted in personal, political, and racial animus 5 months before her election. It's largely a political decision whether she stays in office, since these are just allegations at this point."
A few moments later.
Marilyn Mosby has just been found guilty of perjury. A federal jury convicted her of lying about experiencing hardship due to the pandemic, to withdraw money from her retirement account early, to purchase 2 vacation homes in Florida.
Sounds good, Matt. We appreciate it. Just a short time ago, the South Bend Housing Authority director of the present testified against the director of the past about the devastation caused by a multi-million-dollar bank and wire fraud scandal. It's something we've been reporting on for years now. Mark Peterson at the fore of that reporting joins us live in studio with the latest. Hey, Mark.
You remember that scandal? It involved the Housing Authority cutting checks to contractors for jobs that were never done. Those contractors then kicking back cash to Housing Authority administrators. Well, former Housing Authority Director Tanya Robinson today ordered to serve a 9-year prison sentence, also ordered to pay more than $3.2 million in restitution. Her take in the scam: pilfered money that was supposed to be used to maintain Housing Authority properties.
So currently the Housing Authority is left with over 300 units that are vacant because we can't afford to rehab those units. And also the building located on 501 Alonzo Watson Drive is half vacant because of the extensive work that needs to be done with the plumbing, furnace, and air conditioning because of years of neglect. I was left with a very dysfunctional agency in disrepair, and we are still, like I said in my statement, 5 years later, we're trying to continue to put Band-Aids on it until we can get to a healthy place. And I thank the city of South Bend for being patient with me and with the agency as we try to make that happen.
And the current director says the Housing Authority is going to forever be known for the actions and inactions of Robinson instead of the mission of lifting up and supporting low-income families in need. Josh?
A sad and unfortunate story all around, really. Mark, we appreciate you staying on top of it for us. Thank you.
I want to give all the praises and the honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Recha HaKodash, and double honors to the elder apostles and the bishops of Great Millstone. Honors as well to you, brethren. Shalom to you, supporters of this ministry. That includes you, sisters. Shalom to the elect. So I noticed I woke up this morning with a news article with this former mayor, Marilyn Mosby. In fact, I think she was a state's attorney, former state's attorney of Baltimore. Right? So there you have it. And I just want to do this lesson because there was also a woman, and these are all Eves, by the way, Sheila Dixon. She's also been convicted. She was the former mayor of Baltimore, right, for, I believe, selling gift cards or whatever. I don't know. Let me see if I can find it here. Sheila Dixon conviction. She was guilty, charged with embezzlement for violation of fiduciary duties. I had to look up fiduciary, which I believe goes to federal or something. She violated fiduciary duties, which goes to related to involving confidence of trust such as held found in trust confidence. Okay, that's what it means. One that holds a fiduciary relation of acts of fiduciary capacity, holding in trust. So anyway, she was Sheila Dixon. She was the former mayor of Baltimore. Now she's running again, right? This is wild. She's been convicted. Now she's up running. She was convicted of, let me see here, looks like stealing, embezzling. That's pretty much the point. Embezzlement duties to the Baltimore, using money for gift cards. It was various other things, but she didn't get convicted on the other counts. Then you have this other woman in South Bend housing projects who's, as you heard the intro, but what I want to show you is they all got a Jake beside them. You know, the scripture says a wicked woman is given portion to a wicked man, right? So what they do, you know, Edom is slick. What he does, he set these eaves up, right, to push the trustworthy mindset to the public over men, right? So everybody can see that this is the Queen of Heaven, by the way. So everybody can see that who's more trustworthy, who's more responsible in these offices, right? But we must understand, if Eve is not faithful to her own companion, she's not faithful to the Lord. You know, it seems like Eve is only faithful to the devil. And it looks like Eve is not even faithful to the devil at this point. I mean, it's getting out of hand, right? And these are stories happening all over. So let's go to John 8:44, right? It says, ye are your father the devil. So what do you expect? What do you expect to happen? Everybody knows this great city, Babylon, runs off nothing but corruption. If you don't know it, I don't know whether you've been living under a rock or sleeping in some fallout shelter that's been evacuated for last 30 years, right? And this is why it's so messed up with the voting, and they'll get on you for voting. You don't vote. You don't voice your opinion. You don't stand up for your rights. Now, as I quote the younger brother saying, well, since we didn't vote and you did, well, what the hell happened? Shouldn't some change have come about if you voted and you set everything in place to try to make a better world, and these corrupt politicians keep getting in office doing the same damn thing over and over, then whose fault is it? This is like a dog chasing their tail, or a dog returning to their own vomit. We've seen this over. Barack Obama has run the deficit higher than any other president on the face of the earth. And that's who Sheila Dixon endorsed. You see? This is where it goes. The lust of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning. You know, Eve has sided with the serpent. And she's doing exactly what the serpent does. What do you expect? But the serpent understands, well, wait a minute. I set you up to fail your own, to destroy your own. I set you up to do that. Now you're going to bite the hand that feeds you? Yeah, right. They're not having that. As much as they try to sweep it under the rug, Nahum 3:1. It says, woe to the bloody city. It is all full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not. That's exactly what it is. It's the bloody city is all full of lies and robbery. Everything that is built on is lies and corruption. Now, most so-called black people will say, well, it's only happening because it's been going on. White people have been doing this for ages. Well, that's what they built the place on. Of course they have. But you, especially understanding morals, are supposed to be better than that. That means you're not supposed to do it. Just because they've been doing it, that's our people. Our people will not hold our own accountable for nothing. Which is true, though. You know, this man has been stealing, you know, everything that's is gotten is off of theft. That's all he's ever done. And so people will complain and say, well, that's all he does. They want to come after the black woman, and they're trying to destroy the black woman's reputation, and, you know, so forth and so on. But you are the people who vote for her. You the people who support the cast. So don't be a hypocrite. If you already know it's all kind of thievery and corruption, you know all the politicians are liars, what do you expect? You expect morality when it was all built off of corruption? A corrupt seed bringeth forth corrupt fruit. As we read Ecclesiastes 1:9, that this happened in Rome. This is nothing new under the sun. Let's look at politician. I decided to go look this up in the online etymology. It says, person skilled in politics, especially one engaged in politics, especially as made as a trade, one who promotes the interests of a political party, right? Thus it quickly took on overtones, not typically good ones. This says, here it goes. It says, one concerned with public affairs for the sake of profit. This is what the politician means, right? Or a clique, like you had the Republicans and the Democrats. This is all reincarnated, you know, out of the Roman Empire. You have what you call, it says here, the plebeians and patricians. In early Rome, the patricians were the only ones who could hold political or religious office, right? The plebeians were commoners in Rome and had the highest population in society. So, you know, most of these people, right, these politicians, they all claim to be forms of Christians, right? They all talk about Jesus, and they'll show up in church. They have to live in their district. You know what, I learned that. So like in Baltimore, or if you're in Chicago, whatever city they're representing, they got to live in that district, you know, in that city. Let's put it that way. So you see, it's just all going down, right? Let's go to Isaiah 14:11. The pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vials, and the worm is spread under thee, right? And the worms cover thee. You know, you had even at the time of Egypt, right? When that started to fall, you had the same concept, right? They had the greatest water sprouts, and, you know, they had great technology. But whenever a society falls, that's what you see happening. And I believe in Egypt, it was several lines of Cleopatra's out of the Ptolemy, right? And then you see what happened, and Rome came and took that, right? So the Lord raises up empires, and he brings empires down. This is a symbol or the sign of an empire falling. In fact, what they're doing is they're using the people that people don't understand. Feminism is not designed to help you as a woman. It is designed to hurt you, because when they put you ahead of the natural order, that really hurts you. So this is why a lot of you Eves are walking around and you're driving in your new cars, but you're expecting a man, you got a Mercedes, you're expecting a man to have the Maybach or the hybrid class or whatever. You got a $200,000 house or $250,000 house, you expect a man to have $1 million house. You don't realize it's because you're funded. You're given these opportunities. And that's what we see. And that's why it's all out of control. And then what happens is these men that they have that set up to watch them or be under them, they manipulate them in schemes. In fact, this woman, Sheila Dixon, she was setting contracts up to different city officials with her husband. We see the same thing happen with the Black Lives Matter, with the 3 women with the alternative lifestyles. They gave it to their brothers and certain members, I think a father, and they was running stuff, and they just ran the money all out of control. This is what happened when these Eves get money, and they got somebody they care about. They want to share it all, and then they mix with these guys, and the guys will come to them crying, talking about how hard life is, and they need some support. And, Eve in that power, she feels the need to take care of Jake. And then she'll do what Jake will get on his knees and cry, I need contracts. And they'll go help the Jake with the contracts. That happened with Sheila Dixon, allegedly. So we see what's happening. So anyway, the pomp is brought down to the grave. The pomp means the excellency of Babylon is being brought down to the grave. It's when you go into the time of the Babylonians, man, same thing, right? The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. That means decay. It's like decaying. They got all these, and imagine the things that haven't been brought out. Imagine the schemes and the embezzlements that hasn't been brought to light, or they're sweeping under the rug. They all have all these crazy techniques and red tape on how to get funding. I've worked around city officials, and I knew something, and they was telling me a lot of the game of how when they get these contracts to fix the road, the reason why it takes so long, because they won't get extra funding if they finish it too quick. It's like so much red tape when it comes to that. The infrastructures, if you hit a pothole, you can sue. There's laws that you have that they won't abide by. You can file a lawsuit, but by the time you go through the trouble, years done went by. It's so much red tape and so much fraud and deception that you that are the so-called poor or middle class, you don't stand a chance. And what they do is they set these people up over you. These are common crooks and criminals, which crook goes to crooked. That's who they use to set up over you. How do you work thievery that was built off thievery? Well, you hire thieves that know how to steal. They're just having a problem with them stealing from them. All right. Let's go to Jeremiah 13 and 18 real quick. 15. Let me see here. 16. Give glory to the Lord your God before he cause darkness, and before your feet stumble upon the dark mountains, and while ye look for light. He turn it into a shadow of death, and make it a gross darkness. But if ye will not hear it in my soul, hear it, my soul shall weep in secret places, right, for your pride. And mine eyes shall weep sore and run down with tears, because the Lord's flock is carried away captive. Say unto the king and to the queen, humble yourselves, sit down, for your principalities shall come down, even the crown of your glory. Right? So the Lord has brought the children of Israel down, man. Right? We've this is why we're calling out to the elect to wake the hell up. You can't follow this. You can't believe a lot of this. You can't trust in this society. Revelation 18 and 17, real quick. God's word translation. She gave herself glory and luxury. Now give her just as much torture and misery, right? She say to herself, I am a queen on a throne, not a widow. I'll never be miserable. Now, we know this is Babylon, right? We know this is Babylon the Great. Come down and sit in the dust, I think Isaiah 47. So we know that what this is. Let me go to the other translation. give her so much torment, how much she had glorified herself. Now we know it's talking about Babylon, but you know what they managed to do, right? They managed to set up Eve over a lot of the so-called communities, especially our communities, and they let Eve run things. So when this society goes down, this place goes down, well, Eve is going right down with it. And they know it's all crooked. It's all a game. It's all rigged, right? That's all it is, man. So I just want to touch on that, man, the fact that Eve is being brought low right along with Babylon, right along with, her lover. He goes down, he's damn sure going to make sure she goes down. That's all I have on that. Shalom.